Hi there, my name's Rick Wood. I'm an Antigua artist, and today I'm just doing a bit of a chat and review of the Tenor Pro 1 saxophone. Absolutely beautiful instrument. The colour, first off, I think this is really impressive and really important for a saxophonist. You know, you've got to like the appeal of it. You've got to like the look of it. Whether that's silver plated, whether it's gold, whether it's, you know, lovely brassy type finish. This is a really nice deep brass, absolutely beautiful, really nice example of a Pro 1 here. I'll be playing this sax later, and firstly just to chat about it a little bit. For me, there's only a few things in a saxophone that makes a saxophone great. First one's tone. You know, at the end of the day, if it sounds like a duck, no one's going to be interested. It needs to sound great. And there's such a big differentiation on the market between professional instruments of what's, you know, a great tone. And even professional, you know, saxophonists have great differentiating opinion of what a good tone is. For me, it's something that can do whatever you want it to do. So if I want to play a really smoky blues, film noir piece of music, I need a really good subtone saxophone sound. If I'm playing in a pop or funk session, I need something that can really have a good razzy cutting through. And that goes on to the first point of why this saxophone has become my main tenor sax. This beautiful Pro 1 here. The altissimo, the special effects and things, and onto advanced techniques. The altissimo, the overtones, also things like multiphonics, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely phenomenal on this, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. Really good sounds. Secondly, absolutely love. I can't not say this. But these beautiful, and I'll just zoom it in here a little bit. Beautiful extra arms on each of the low notes. So your C, your B, your bottom B flat, they've all got extra support. And what that means is that it has a really solid seal. You've got 3 arms pushing the low pads, the largest pads on the sax down. And these 3 pads, these 3 arms, push the pad down. And it means that it seals equally all the way around. Now, you know, low notes in a saxophone are something that I can always get on a sax, but it's something that varies on each saxophone, and sometimes I come to a saxophone I'm like, oh, that's a bit harder than, you know, I feel it should be, or another saxophone I go to, I'm like, oh, that's surprisingly nice. And yet it can come down to the player. At the end of the day, any player should be able to play any sax, and you should be able to sing out those low notes, those high notes, all the overtones, etc. But it certainly helps if the saxophone's on board with you and if it's on your side. So this is amazing. I remember, it must have been about 10 years ago, playing a Top Hat and Cane vintage saxophone. And this saxophone, it played a bottom B like you were playing a normal B up here, you know. It was absolutely stunning. And this Pro 1 is the only other saxophone I've ever played that is that close to just being effortless at the bottom end, because you have these extra supports pushing down the key work. Really good, and I've got to speak about that, and worthwhile. And I'm going to demo a bit of that later on, some of these low notes. My other main point is, when I was growing up in my teens, I played a Yamaha 62 Mark 1 alto saxophone. A revered and respected alto saxophone in the world. And it was brilliant because I could play silky smooth on a metal mouthpiece. And I played on a Lawton, made in the UK, beautiful metal mouthpiece. So it had a real razzy sound when I needed it, but it played really soft as well. It wasn't, you know, the mouthpiece didn't dictate the kind of tone that came out. It came from me. And that, you know, as I was speaking earlier about tone, that's the most important thing for me on a saxophone. And this saxophone is exactly like that. You can, you know, I've currently got a Theo 1 Mantra metal mouthpiece on here, and it can really, this is my setup I use, and I've always used this mouthpiece the last few years for funk, for jazz, for fusion, for ska, you know, R&B, pop, anything that really I need to cut through. Occasionally in jazz band settings when I've got a pierce through on a solo, cut through the band, if I need a bit of more power. But the beauty is with this, on the Antigua Pro 1, is that I can use this piece and still it can play silky smooth, really soft, beautiful subtones, and it just, the mouthpiece isn't dictating the kind of tone that comes out, because the saxophone is able to get every end of the spectrum, dark and warm and mellow and beautiful, sweet sounds, and equally the razzy, altissimo and beautiful squealing saxophone solos that you know that the instrument's known for. So I cannot rave about this instrument enough. It's grown on me so much in the month that I've had it. And as I say, it's now my gigging saxophone. It's tenor sax. It's absolutely stunning. Check it out.